Hello, and today we'll continue with the third and latest build of Cleaved. As the light passes through the window, I begin to stare. The morning sun is a clear indicator that it's time to get up. Swinging my legs over the bed, I stand and make my way over to the dresser. Sat on top of it was a bundle of clothing, tied up in a wicker basket, and note attached onto the end of the tie delicately. Here's the rest of your clothing, darling. Your favorite seamstress. Perfect, thanks, Selma. Undoing the lace, I inspect the individual items that were part of the bundle. It mostly consists of undershirts, a few pairs of trousers of some sorts. I assume she had designed these for me so it would be better to relax within the castle. I don't need that get up to just lounge about, after all. I pick out an outfit for the day and fold it out on my bed just so I can change after my shower, and then grab a towel and approach the bathroom. One new notification for wine. Stopping in my tracks, my eyes are thrown over the banister and down at the screen. The device flickers with a soft blue color as it makes a short chime. Oh, that's new. Hello. What's my notification? A part of me was beginning to think I had done something wrong, as it didn't seem to respond to my command, but before I knew it, it played back another time. King Kaiser has successfully cleared Herschel Holmes' morning schedule and he is available for your scheduled medical assessment. Someone will be Someone will be by shortly to escort you to the facility. Please prepare yourself swiftly and avoid consumption of any food and beverages other than water, as it will not affect the result of the examination. The screen flickers off. Not wanting to hold up my escort, I head into the bathroom and get my shower done as quickly as I can. Stepping out with a fresh feeling, I return to my room and slide on one of the undershirts. I decide it would be best to stick with a pair of shorts, opting for comfort for the day ahead. I opened the door and I met with a woven guard. He's not too dissimilar to Gare, but not as tall and a bit more of a vibrant brown for his fur. The outfit itself was what tied it to the sense of familiarity. Good morning. The wolf gives me a nod before mouthing a quick greeting, turning to his side so that I may step out of the room. Ah, why, thanks. A flash of his burgundy-colored attire hits my eyes as I turn back to lock the door. The wolf continues to wait patiently. Once he sees that I'm ready, he begins to walk off. He beckons me with a hand signal as we slowly progress forward. Honestly, the silence the wolf encouraged was an absolute bliss to me at the time, giving me some time to get my thoughts together, mainly being about last night. It's probably why he didn't come see me this morning. We both know it was an accident, but it was quite personal experience for both of us. Although I do find it embarrassing how much of a klutz I made myself to be, I wonder how he truly felt about it. We're here. Perfect, thank you for your escort. Professor Holmes is inside waiting for you. Just go inside when you're ready, but try not to keep him waiting too long. Of course. He turns to walk away, leaving me alone. I take a deep breath, popping my arms up and down eagerly and giving the door a courtesy knock before my grip encompasses the handle and I push it open. Professor Holmes, hi, wow. Oh my god. It seems my sudden arrival had caused the wolf quite a start. Looking further into the room, I could see there was a bookshelf at the back wall, adorned with multiple books varying in shape, color, and size. I press in, quickly making my way over to the wolf and picking him up from the floor. I sling my arm over my shoulder so that I can bring him to the nearby chair. Are you okay? I feel you on that. Despite my attempt, I can't help the laughter in. I can't keep the laughter in and let out a slight chuckle at poor Holmes' expense. He blushes a faint red before letting out a courtesy laugh, joining me in my entertainment. I suppose if it had to happen in front of anyone, there's some comfort that it was You of all people. If it was someone from the council, I don't think I would have ever lived that down, much less if it were my sister. The wolf would roll his eyes at the mention of her, but quickly shrugged it off and shifted his focus back to me. Back to the important part of the day, human. Hello. Hello to you too, Fraser home. It's a pleasure to properly meet you finally. And same to you. Something seems a little off with him. Compared to how I last encountered him at the trial, he seems more laid back and easygoing. Dare I say, happier? So I didn't get much chance to talk to you specifically at the trial, but I can't tell you how much I've been looking forward to this meeting since. I think I might have an idea of how. Carter had made some comments about how interested you were in me. I'm certain that he did. But it wasn't just your speeches that piqued my interest. When we have those grandiose trials, it's always the same, a petty criminal or a traitor. Heck, we even get grandmothers that demand our undivided attention because they're not happy with individual council members' choices. But it's insanely rare for us to have a scholar pass through our doors, let alone one that has knowledge of the field we provide services for. From everything I've seen so far, you seem to be more catered towards machinery and anything that would fall in the realm of Heim's interest. In fact, I wanted to ask if you carry any knowledge of the studies in my field. Biology, right? I'm certainly no novice, but as you said, I'm no specialist. Despite that, I've already shown Heim I'm a quick study. As it stands, I might just take you up on that offer. Having another intellectual resident at the castle would be a lifesaver. And besides, if you have such a good understanding of the other sciences, biology should come easy enough. Sounds good to me. Wait, do you know those words? Biology? I mean, I'm a legionnaire. After all, why wouldn't I? Oh no, it's just that I had to explain to Calder what those words were. I didn't think they were all that common. I see. Not quite. To an educational fellow, those words are common. There are many shared between a lot of cultures. Calder wouldn't know them because, well, he's rather dumb. That was rather casual of him to say. It surprises me to the point I don't doubt Home can read my reaction like a book. Whoa. Don't get me wrong. I love the king like a brother, but I'm not exactly lying by saying that, in all honesty. Well, in all fairness, he was pretty damn earnest about the individual strengths that his council possessed. He mentioned he held you guys in close accord to help one of the areas where you might lack. That's all king for you. He really does seem like a stand-up guy, huh? He has his faults, but overall, I couldn't ask to work alongside someone better. Now, before we run off on a tangent, why don't we go ahead and get this exam started? Alright, where do we begin? Right here. Home turns in his chair, searching through a few drawers and putting various items out on a table behind him. Amongst them sat a needle, microscope, a flashlight, and a circular device that I wasn't familiar with. The wolf then walks over to the long pole. He presses a button, and a set of blue screens appear in front of him, similar to what I had set up in my room. While standing, he reaches for himself closer to his desk and pulls out a worn journal. He cracks the spine of the journal and turns, heading toward a blank page. Setting it down, his free paw fiddles with the empty space, the wolf not looking but raising his eyebrows as he finally finds a pen. One final movement puts him back to the starting position. He pulls the microscope toward him, lowering his eye to the scope as he calibrates it. Satisfied, he then grabs the needle and the circular device. Okay, so he presses a button on the center of the circle and it expands a slight bit. A light illuminates out of it as it lines itself up next to a chiseled stone slab. Provided you're comfortable, will you remove your outer garments? Yes, sure. It seems that I had made the right call opting for less layer-heavy attire. While I'm in the process of removing my shirt, I hear him pick up the journal. So, is this so you can get some kind of accurate result? Uh-huh. The most accurate results, the better after all. Now the most annoying test I want to conduct. He then shows me the needle. I want to conduct a blood test. I want to see if I can confirm a couple theories that have been floating around my mind. Is it alright if I take one? Sure, by all means. He grabs me by the hand, pulling my left arm out and twisting it so the underside was facing skyward. He slowly followed it by prodding and tensing my arms to find the sweet spot. Got some scars on this arm, friend. Been many scraps of your time? Not too many that I recall. I might be a bit banged up from arriving here, though. I say hum, then proceeds to find an ideal spot, lowering the needle into position. You're gonna feel a little prick, but I'll try to be as gentle as possible. I inhale deeply, allowing him to proceed. Somehow, even now, something as commonplace as a needle makes me woozy for a moment. And before I knew it, hum was already finished. He then turns around, extracting a vial from a nearby cup. And nearby cupboard, the blood is then transferred over to it, leaving me intrigued as to what he's concocted. Home then drops the strip into the vial before finally sealing it and storing it in a cylindrical container. What is his interest and position in what he's doing is shutting down my knowledge-seeking nature, just content with watching and studying from the wolf as he moves over to a panel connected to the cylinder. It sparks for a second, bringing the whole machine to life. Pistons begin pumping and the cylinder starts spinning. Perfect. Now that'll just need a minute. I can tell you have questions. Essentially, this machine is able to test blood. So tell me if there's any illnesses we need to worry about. It's some impressive technology. That it is. We may not be the most advanced in the medicinal field, but we're certainly not slouches. There's a smile on his face as he stows the open journal next to the machine. Now, while we're waiting to get that finished, another thing I've been asked to do is to collect your height and weight. He writes something down before pointing out what looked to be an old scale. Holmes took a step over to it, holding a circular device from earlier. The only difference now is that it was glowing a faint blue color. Oh, if it would help, Lady Sama already took record of my height when I went to get some clothes. Bah. No, thank you, Brian. Sama's measurements are made with the intent that the clothing is made to accentuate and complement your physique. My measurements are more in line with your medicinal interests. This way, should anything happen to you, I know the correct size of measurements to use on you and whatnot. And now that you mention it, did she happen to share the record measurements with you? Huh? She didn't. She just wrote it down on a note and promised she'd take it from there. I just assumed that regardless of the measurements she took, they'd be comparable to my regular ones, you know? Regardless, I'm sure it wouldn't hurt. He instructs me to stand on the stone device I'd seen before. I was humbled to know it wasn't anything too fancy, just a regular scale to produce the data. Okay, 73 kilograms. 73? Wait, kilograms. These those two? Perfect, now, hold still. I'm about to activate the scanner. Scanner? The apparatus button extended upwards shortly after, turning to aim at the scale with a blue light at my feet. Indeed, Zo's technology is very malleable. Making something with it doesn't mean it can't be made to do something else. Like so. He presses a button and the light begins to slowly trickle up my body. What the heck? Hey, don't move. I tense back into place, assuming the position until the machine finishes its scan. and sits back into place, assuming the position until the machine finishes the scan. 187 centimeters, and done. Wait, so does that mean that you guys, the same technology we use for the screens can also be programmed to record data, measurements, color analysis? Essentially, if you can think it, you can get a screen to do it. That's incredible. You're essentially able to automate tasks, provide rapid delivery and pinpoint accuracy in the results? That would be correct. Let me guess. Heim gave you all the flash, but none of the science on his tour, did he? You can say that. I swear it's like that wolf thinks for nothing but money and theatrics. Despite the wolf thinking out loud, it wasn't enough to distract me from the sudden realization that I would physically change. I mean, I can excuse the way I've suddenly been eating better than what I'm used to, but my height? How can that even be possible? Your measuring equipment, how accurate is it? It's really accurate. At this moment in time, I honestly argue that it's the most accurate piece of technology going. Is something the matter? I'm trying to get my head around your measurements. Oh, well, you just take the... No, I know how it works. It's just that I know my measurements. For the longest time, I've always been 6 foot. He shows a brief flash of confusion, which prompts me to work out the mental math quickly. About 182 centimeters. I just can't wrap my head around the fact that, according to you guys, I'm suddenly 5 centimeters taller. The wolf places a paw on his chin, nodding his head up and down in a rhythm, seemingly going over his thoughts before finally speaking. Well, believe it or not, his head leans over his shoulder, looking over at the previously drawn blood sample. That's actually something I wanted to test for. Brian, I take it that you've noticed how nearly every individual you met so far has been bigger than you in stature. It would be a fair bit concerning if I hadn't realized such a thing, but go on. Come take a look at this. It should enlighten you. The screen serves to display a sequence of images. Samples of my blood are displayed in front of the both of us, only for there to be quite a concerning amount of our sates mixed between the cells. What the hell is that? It's a little startling at first. The wolf grabs me by the shoulder, pulling me back down so that he could explain. Whoa now, calm down. I'll assure you this is quite normal. How is this normal? It's just air. Are you not? He taps the screen again, loading another diagram of myself, but noticeably devoid of this air. It's only a draft, but this should be an estimate for what you looked like before coming here. You'll notice that, as of now, the concentration of air in your system is much more intense. You may have a different name for air where you're from, but though from what I can tell from the scan, it seems you haven't had much exposure to it. Is it some kind of virus? Nothing bad, I assure you. Listen, Brun, air is wonderful. It's been theorized by many scholars that it originated eons ago. It's all around us, in the air, the water, truly everywhere. Air works in tandem with a person's body. It increases their immune system, bolsters their energy, is powerful enough to even alter the bodily structure and abilities of someone. Its intent is to put someone in a state where they can assert their peak performance level. Now, admittedly, you seem like a really rare case. Everything he's saying is a lot to process. A powerful super microbe or virus or bacteria that can just fully alter someone's body. It sounds like something plucked straight out of a video game. But does it really, scholar? Is there really no thought going on in that brain of yours about the possibility of such a creation? My head pangs for a moment, pain racking through it. For a brief second, my mind flashes a picture of a woman leaning over a desk. She's taking notes on several beakers lined up in a long, thin rack. But before I can focus on her, she's gone. Damn it. I'm already agreeing to do these communications for you. Where else do you get from tormenting me? Consider this a favor, like I'm steering you in the direction of what I might want you to do next. Why? Huh? Yeah. Try to focus on that dwindling voice once again, but it's already gone, leaving me alone in the room with home. Do you understand me? Sorry, will you mind repeating that? Sure. Your rarity, if you will, stems from the fact that it looks as if your body hasn't had much, if any, experience with air before. Because of that, it's evident that you'll be experiencing some rapid progression compared to the gradual ones that we wolves endured. Now, as for the extent of your physical changes, I can't say much as to what it will do, as I've never seen anything like it. But I do suspect that it won't be as intense as us for that reason. That and, well, you being a human, no? I see, I take it you won't be going anywhere anytime soon, will you? Well, I don't plan on packing my bags right after this, so no. then I, then if I can, I'd like to leave myself in your capable paws, checkups, weigh-ins, anything you can do to monitor me and make sure I'll be okay. You beat me to the punchline. Of course, I'd love to. Excuse my excitement, but no, you'll have the finest care available to you while you're with us. He flashed me a smile before turning away, jotting down some more notes in that well-used journal. I wonder if he doodles in it every now and again. Then again, maybe home isn't that irresponsible. We take a moment to appreciate the silence as he decorates the pages with even strokes until he's satisfied with his record. Now then, for the time being, I'm clearing you to work for Heim's evening schedules, as I'm confident that you have the powers to handle these times, given your rising affinity with air. That being said, I'm stipulating that if you're to do any of these extended stills, I want you to have ample recovery time, just so we have complete accuracy in this little experiment. There's quite the dark smirk on his face as he goes over his notes once more. I'll be sure to pass all this on the counter, but I want you to start undergoing some sort of training. Not only will we be able to see the extent of what air can do for your body, we'll be able to ensure you're up to the task of any physically demanding dilemmas you may find yourself in. His Highness will sort out a resume with you. He's quite good at planning out his training. Well, I'm glad to hear we have a plan in place. Thank God I'm cleared for that evening work. Hopefully there'll be no further delays now. Home, then glasses out of the window, pondering up at the sky. Now then, Caldus informed me that you wanted to go to the library after your examination was complete. Is that still the case? Yes, I've been meaning to check out these vast collections in there. Of course. Say, how about I'll escort you there as soon as I get the lab all closed down. After all, I can make sure you don't get lost. Only if it's not putting you out of your way. Not at all. I've had some books already prepared for me. As a matter of fact, I've actually been trying to find the time to go get them. He lets out a chuckle. I agreed to his offer and finished the necessary procedures with him. Once he's satisfied with the cleanup, we step out of the room, making our way back to the corridor. Home hangs back for a moment, pulling out a loud set of keys from his pocket and sticks one in the door's keyhole. He turns it swiftly until a clicking sound emits from the lock. He then turns from the door. After locking it, a grin on his face. Right, if you want to follow me, we'll be at the library before you know it. Perfect. Despite our efforts to make our way over to the library, the sound of someone behind us is echoed over. Fraser home. Halts for a moment. We turn around, meeting our guard's gaze as he quickly does a bow of respect in Holmes' direction. Apologies for the interruption, sir. I've been sent by Fraser Astrid. At ease, soldier. What does she want? She's asked me to inform you that her meetings with the king today have concluded, and she wants to brief you personally on the notes of the meeting. I see. And what of the rest of the council? Is there any indication that the meeting will be wrapping up any time soon? Not yet, sir. Some of the other Herser have been wanting to discuss some rising topics with His Majesty, and as such things have gone a bit airy. Woven passing at its finest. Very well. Please inform my sister that I'll meet her at her chambers shortly. I have some errands to run first, but I won't keep her waiting long. As you command, Herser. Dismiss. The guard nods. The guard nods his head and turns his back, walking away from the pair of us, returning us to our own company. Gotta be fair, he carries himself. Before I get the chance to finish my thought, Home lets out an exaggerated sigh, his brow beginning to sweat. Everything alright? It's as if that distraction blinded him to the present company, making him jump at the asking of status. Yeah, I'm fine. Sorry. It's alright. What is that about? Sorry, I haven't been in Herser for as long as my colleagues, and I have a responsibility to keep up the appearance of one, too. It's a little overwhelming sometimes, you know? I get that. It's never easy going from the quiet one in the group to the one leading it. Is that some ancient human proverb? No, just something an old associate once told me, but it'll come to you in time. It did for me at my old university. Huh, thanks, wine. Don't mention it. You know, speaking of the council, your sister, what about her? I didn't really get the best impression of her at the trial, though I wasn't too impressed with her putting you in a headlock and taking away from the severity of it all. I guess she's been the hardest person I've tried to get a read on so far. I guess what I'm wondering is, well, what's she like? See, he takes a step forward, his head bowing a slight hit. My sister is a wolf just like any other, but despite the same complexion, she's an entirely different beast. While I was chosen for my talents to become a part of the council, my sister earned her place at the table through sheer willpower, proving to everyone that she earned her place because she was simply better than the rest. I struggled to find the voice of a commanding official, while my sister took it faster than the light of the stars. You think she'd been in the council for decades. In reality, she's only been part of it for a single winter. Really? Only 1 year? Aye. I've only had a third of that time in comparison, but it just feels like I'll never be able to catch up to her accomplishments. And don't put yourself down too harshly. I mean, regardless of whether or not you were chosen for the role, surely the decision must have been made because they could see your potential. Yeah, well, Calder certainly seems to think so, at least. A blush forms faintly on his cheeks, seemingly appreciative of the kind words said with him. But yeah, that's my sister for you. Alzheimer's biggest big ja. She's my family, though, regardless of how many problems she may cause me, I do love her. If nothing else, I can respect the familiar bond they share, but I do hope the respect Home has for his sister is mutual. I guess that would imply I actually need to meet Astrid, though. Which admittedly, I'd like to delay for as long as possible. As we finish discussing the family specifics, a stone arch protrudes from the wall, wide enough to support the two large oak doors that stood underneath it. Would I be correct to assume this is a library? Indeed, you would. He steps forward, pressing both paws against the giant doors. With some effort, he's able to push the reinforced doors wide open, displaying the library in its full grandeur. As we step inside, the familiar scent of aged paper floods my nostrils, pulling me in further and giving me a better lay of the land. While I stand there, getting lost in the excitement, I briefly spot Home in the corner of my eye. I watch him move over to the front desk. Is there a particular book you're after? Books, actually. Uh-huh. The wolf jumps onto the counter, bending over in such a way that he's able to reach what he's looking for. Perfectly stored for retrieval. Go ahead, Brian. What book are you after? I don't think that it would be there. Did the librarian not prepare the books you requested? That was an option? Yeah, that wolf. I see that Carter didn't tell you that you could request books for easy retrieval. He did not. Our father's knowledge helped me. The library itself is split into multiple sections and they're titled appropriately as to what you'll find in them. General rules that you'll find your more educational sources on the ground floor. If you're looking for more personal self-published work, they'll be on the first floor. I normally ask the librarian to assist you, but as you can see, he has a day off today. He lets outside, leaning against the desk. And as much as I'd love to stay, my friend, I'm afraid it wouldn't be in my best interest, not with the roaring storm waiting for me. He smiles, taking a step toward the door before turning back. Thanks again for everything, home. Don't worry about me. I wouldn't be as good a student as I am if I wasn't familiar with the inner workings of a library. There's a smile of confidence on my face. After all, how hard could it be? I look forward to seeing you again. Just do your best to ensure your next visit isn't for some sort of serious injury. Working with Heim, I can't promise that. He stares away, letting out an ever so infectious laugh, and it doesn't take long for the both of us to sound like kettles, wheezing and gasping before finally calming down. Be seeing ya. The wolf closes the door behind him, and I hear his footsteps going fainter and fainter as he leaves me to my own company. Now that I'm finally on my own, I take a deep breath, ordering my thoughts together. Okay, time to get to work. There are 2 books I need to find for certainty. Firstly, a replacement of the one I destroyed to keep my cover story intact, and secondly, any of Graham's books about his studies of the world. Anything else is pretty much a bonus. Only choice now is where to start. Yeah. Go back again. Hmm. Yeah. Let's see if I pick the first option. The sooner I have it, the sooner I can get it off my mind. Let's take a look. Sticking to the ground floor reveals the more studied topics the wolves have. Geography, botany, math, science. Come on, something like this surely has to be in, history. My fingers trace the cells lagging behind me ever so slightly as my eyes dance across the rows of spines, taking a moment of each self. To my luck, each self has been organized carefully into an alphabetical structure, probably organized into G. Gorm, the legendary defender. Gardy, Veter, and Legends. Yes, the art of introduction. A few more books call out to me as I slow down, nearing the correct letter. Perfectly, the Great Voyage. Great Voyage, to be more specific. Some excitement resounds in my thoughts, double checking the numerals to ensure it's the correct replacement. Here, with my cover secured, I tread back to the central area, a central table available for patrons of the library to sit and study. Place the book down upon the table. I sit that in one of the chairs next to me. There's an unusual tote bag. The creases of the material imply that it's full up with books. I wonder if they use that to carry the returned books around. Regardless, with the task fulfilled, the next objective was waiting for me. With the book now in tow, I was back down the stairs to grab a spot at the table, opening the book as delicately as possible as to ensure there was no damage done to the old thing. The origins of the world is a discovery that has been undertaken by people of all walks of life. Do we as individuals look to the religious, claiming the gods are responsible for the wonders we explore and enjoy? do we partake in the knowledge that science has brought us, that claims that everything that's happened can be summarized as nothing but a course of natural reactions that have brought us to this moment in time? Or is there something simpler, something more philosophical, something that only a kind, more honest soul would be able to understand about our place in all this? The rest of the introduction is given through Grimm's philosophical debates, doing little to add to the knowledge that I'm searching for. Legends of Caledonia, folklore, religions, histories. Here we go. Chapter 1, The Origin of the World. In my many travels, I met countless individuals of all species and of all walks of life who all have different answers to the same question I propose to you, labor lesser. The one thing that have remained consistent between all of them is that they all have a belief that a powerful outside source was responsible for the life we enjoy today. The devout would have you believe. The rest of the page is unfortunately showing signs of wear from the passage of time, making the remainder of it unreadable. That's annoying. Guess that's something I'll have to ask Grimm more about the next time I see him. Turning a few pages in, headline after headline sticks out. Several categories of all the different histories that Grimm had the opportunity of exploring and documenting, but nothing of note so far. Anomalies of history. Something that has confused the minds of many a generation, and this is a shared one aspect between every culture and universal language. While yes, every region may have its own dialect, accent, and in some cases new languages based on their surrounding culture, a concept has been that our ancestors have used a shared language to communicate with each other. In my previous excursions, I simply chopped this belief up to the simple fact that the previous lands I visited were in too close a proximity for the universal language to not be true. However, after I had some serious years of traveling under my belt, I was given an opportunity to visit Itland, Oi Kwame, the home city of the Tigers, on behalf of His Majesty. While my mission was to chart a map and assess the likelihood of them becoming an ally, it was here where I had the opportunity to see this world constantly in full force. Despite practically being on what felt like the other side of the world, there was no hindrance in our communication save for the words of their culture. As a scholar, there wasn't a conceivable way for me to simply ignore this. While I may have failed in securing an alliance with them, I did make some personal relations that have helped me put together a theory. The sound of a chime goes off, distracting me from the book for just a moment. What time is it? Looking out the window, realization sets in as the sun begins to set, indicating just how long I've been cooped up in the library. Seeing that I could be close to a breakthrough, my eyes drifted back to the book. From my research, I have come to believe that this phenomenon is tied to the being, or beings that left a foundation for the technology we use so readily today. Technology that we have deconstructed to make it more plausible for our simpler minds to use. The uses of the language stemming from the ancient texts used to describe these mysterious purposes. My eyes dart from my sitting position towards the slowly opening door. Acting on a reaction alone, the book is tossed into the tote bag that was left on the chair, and I open up the copy of The Great Journey, landing on a random page. Aha, hello, Brian. My eyes give a quick survey of his general direction, testing to see if there was anybody else in his present company. Oh, Calder, good afternoon. He appeared to be by himself, which in all honesty I appreciated given the circumstances. Did you manage to find everything well? Well, yeah, it took me a second, but I managed to get the hang of things. here. I found what I was looking for, too. Perfect. I knew there was bound to be a copy in here somewhere for you. What are you up to now? Shit. A quick cautionary glance revealed to me that I had turned to a page detailing the creation of multiple new woven businesses, particularly the introduction of blacksmiths and metalworks. I've actually gotten to a particular part that I'm quite fascinated with. It's currently talking about the addition of blacksmiths to the city, specifically where woven smithy techniques were deployed for the first time in the kingdom and set a new standard for the quality of metal produced. Oh yes, believe me, you're more than free to call me biased, but I can tell you with certainty that you can't get better than woven steel. Is that right? I think I'll have to show you some of my personal pieces sometime. Sounds fun, though. I do hope it's as impressive as you say. Despite our small session of banter, I can tell that something is a bit off with him. Like he's trying too hard to pretend something isn't on his mind. So, were you here for anything in particular, or is this just a checkup? I'm getting sidetracked. Well, dinner's gonna be ready soon. A slight growl emanates from my stomach as he mentions the idea of dinner. I've been so lost in my own thoughts trying to complete my search. Oh, thank you for letting me know. Will someone bring it to my room? There's a slight pause for the wolf. Is he nervous? Actually, he lets out a sigh as if trying to build the courage to ask a daunting task. After the meetings I've had today, I'm just about ready to run a battle axe through my skull. One of our traders came back with a particular beloved wine of Sayors, so there's no doubt he and Fisk will probably spend the evening reminiscing. Zord and Hein will probably spend the entire evening talking about business. More than likely, the aberrant if profit can be improved in any way. And Astrid will probably spend the entire dinner bullying Home for missing the meetings, while also catching him up to speed on what he missed. I don't fancy dealing with any of them, and I would like some fresh company to stimulate my evening. Of course, that's if you want to join me. He tries to play her off with his signature smile, a paw at the back of his head, rubbing it ever so casually, but I could see the blood running through his cheeks. Honestly, after the events that took place last night, I thought I would be the last person he would want to see, but I don't want things to be awkward between us, especially considering how helpful he's been to me since my arrival. Well, I would like to freshen up a bit first. Oh, of course. I'll swing by and grab you when it's ready. Perfect. Knowing I couldn't simply leave the book alone, I grabbed the tote bag, slotting in the copy of The Great Journey just in time for Carter to catch me in his glance. Oh, once I got there, I hope it's alright. I grabbed a few books that caught my eye while I was looking for that copy. Am I right to take them? I think it's really helping me out with some of the work I'm contributing to. Of course, I'll have someone inform the library. Just keep a list of what you've taken so it can be returned properly. Understood. The tote is quickly slung over my shoulder as I step out of the library. I turn to head in the direction of my room, with Carter doing the same. See you later. Indeed. Now with no eyes on me and my loot in tow, I double back through the hallways, taking a brisk stride through them, wanted to ensure there'd be no more surprise encounters that could put me at risk. As soon as I enter the room, my body leans over toward the adjacent power switch, hitting the lights. But in truth, I screamed, nearly escaped my ma as my eyes met with the fox. He's looking just as surprised by my presence, but keeps his ever so casual appearance, biting into a tasty-looking pastry. What the hell are you doing here? A quick turn puts me in line with the door, and I swiftly ensure that it's locked behind me. What? Friends can't drop in? You know that's not what I meant. We could get in serious trouble if you get caught, no? Oh, relax. My interest is solid, It ensures I can slip into here by avoiding all the guards. And did you just forget the wolves here? Like that damn stupid smell. What if someone can pick up that you were here? I sit relaxed and douse myself in a mix of store-bought floral aromas. If they try any sniffing, they simply find their nose quickly overloaded by luscious splash of rose oil, sandalwood, and a hint of jasmine. The way he winks back at me after that probably means he's done this before. I want to say something else, but this is Fraser. He'll always have a smart answer prepared for anything. How did you even get in here? I climbed. You climbed. You climbed all the way up here from the ground level? I've got good stamina. Okay, but how did you actually get in here? Oh, that was easy. I just put the locks on your bathroom windows and jumped in. Jesus, Fraser. Jesus? That's not important. Story for another time. If you say so. He takes another bite of his pastry. Where did you even get that? Full disclosure, they were already in here, and I needed some energy after the climb. So not only did you break into my room, you stole my food as well. Ain't I a menace? He laughs before taking a final bite of the pastry, heading over to my spare chair. He throws himself over the arm of it so that he could practically fall into it, adjusting his body to get ever so comfy. So, what brings you to my also humble abode, Fraser? Well, I know we haven't known each other that long, but I can tell a crafty bugger when I see one. As such, I wanted to check in, see if Mr. Resourceful has had any luck with that missing Grim sit for you. I carefully removed the book from its tote bag, dropping it down on a coffee table. The audible thud makes Fraser sit up straight, and he stares at it dauntingly. Wow, I was partially joking. You actually managed to get in? Of all the books they had left, this was the closest one to what Grim described. Did you manage to read any of it? I did. I thought I couldn't quite finish all of it. Calder came in just before, and I had to hide it. I didn't want to create any suspicion. Smart. Don't just stand there, punk. Whip it out and get the reading. I want to see what it says. Alright. But we need to be quick. Calder will be by soon to escort me to the dining hall, and I still need to freshen up. He simply nods while I turn the book back to its previous page, giving him a chance to catch up to where I had gotten before being interrupted. It doesn't take him long to give me a sign that he's finished the prior part, allowing us both to move on to the end, see what Grim had left us. These instructions held information like measurements and metrics, bodily autonomy, machinery, the list goes on. As such, I suspect that there is more to this joyous creation out there in the world. Information that I hope to find out there in my next investigation. And before long, Fraser suggested to me that he's reached the end. I noticed that there's a page after the one we stopped on, turning it to discover a note left by Grim. Dear reader, should you find yourself at the end of this novel, still searching for answers, I shall inform you that this is not the final piece in this series of mine. I have continued my research into Volume 2, however, due to my purpose to the king finally being fulfilled, I have left the castle with no intent of returning. As such, you will not find any of my future works in the grand hall you currently surround yourself in. If you wish to find this book and any of my other works, I have made them at a submission to the great library. A true safeguard for our sources of knowledge in the known world. Grim Erzala. He never told me he visited the Tigers. Isn't it wild that something as complex as Spire's construction can be explained so damn easily to other people? It is. It's just a tad infuriating that I have no idea where this bloody library is. Not like I have the chance to just leave the city and go. Why not? What do you mean? Well, the council said they offer you help in exchange for your services. I would have thought that once you got that new comms device working for him, that would be your side of the deal completed. How do you know so much about that? I have my sources. Whatever. I can't help but think it over. If what he says is true. On the other hand, if I want any chance of getting some answers out of that creepy bastard, I need to stay, seeing things through, and have him cough up what he knows. Listen, it's not that you're wrong. I think it would be a lot simpler for me too if I did it your way. But I got a shot of getting some real answers. The condition being I need to stay and help work on some of the rules, more detailed projects. He goes to say something, but I cut him off. It's not something I can explain easily, at least not right now. Maybe one day, though. Okay. I always appreciate your candor, Fraser. Behind us, the clock chimes, a signal that we need to start moving. Okay, that book is gonna be in some pretty hot water if it's discovered here. Let me take it. Are you sure? Positive. I'll have a much sooner chance of seeing Grim before you. I'll take this his way and I'll take this his way and we can then look into planning our next steps. That and I do think I'd cheer him up to be reunited with one of his more ancient tones. I can simply picture that goat's handsome old smile, no wonder so many people like him. Alright, you take it, but send word whenever you have some kind of result. You got it. We slowly start to head upstairs, Fraser securing the book into a sling bag under his cape as we into the bath as we step into the bathroom and I get the window for him. Take care, friend. You as well. The fox then leaps out, giving me a space to watch his acrobatics on full display as he almost effortlessly scaled down the wall, his claws dragging through the thick infrastructure. Whoa. But I don't have the luxury of wasting time, nor the ability to launch myself down the fucking castle walls. Still can't believe he did that. I need to get ready. With the window now shut, a quick shower was all I needed. Stripping down and turning the water on led me to carefully douse myself with the finest smelling soaps the wolves had to offer. It was a royal dinner after all, on occasion where I like to put my best foot forward, can't be smelling horrid. Satisfied with my scent, I step out, dry off, and open my wardrobe, digging out my best looking attire and slipping into it. With it secured to my frame, I can't help but roll my shoulders and stretch out my upper body. There's an occasional crack and popping sound being made from the joints' movements. Ah, that's better. Coming. Got vid. Well, got vid to you too. Are you ready to head over? Hell yes, I am. I'm starved. Well, be sure to keep that appetite up. We got quite the feast laid out for us. I was meaning to ask about that actually. This feast, is it to mark anything important? Oh no, not really. We do hold feasts for certain occasions and various festivals throughout the year, but it's become a bit of a tradition for us to have a group meal every so often. It serves as a chance for everyone to relax, have company, and the tower staff seem to enjoy it too. Oh, will they be enjoying us? They will, though we do tend to give the staff their own section. I know it can be a bit annoying when you want to cut loose, but you might be a bit intimidated too when the present company is the one you're working for. That's rather reasonable. Check you out for being a good boss. Technically a good king, and yeah, ideally I want to be remembered as one. But tonight isn't about tributes after passing. Let's eat. It doesn't take him long to outstretch both of his arms, pressing into the big wooden doors to the grand hall, effortlessly severing it open with a boisterous creak. Your Highness, please everyone, don't worry about introductions, just enjoy your night. He turns back to me and nods his head over for me to follow him as we take our seats at the top end of the table closest to the throne. Good evening, everyone. We were wondering when you were gonna. What he's doing here. Astrid's gaze meets mine. For a split second, not nearly enough time for me to learn where the hell her attitude has come from. I invited him. There's a problem? No problem. Just a bit odd, considering. Before Calder or Astrid get an opportunity to say another word to one another, Sayor steps up, greeting us in turn. Calder, Brian, Gotville, how goes? He takes a moment to shoot a glare as sharp as daggers at Astrid by the end of the table before speaking. I'm well, Sayor, a tad bit hungry, but I'm sure that'll be remedied shortly. Huh? With that pot belly, I would have thought otherwise. A chuckle shortly follows from her, while my eyes shoot wide open. Holmes proceeds to choke on his bite of food, pulls his chest to keep it down, and even Ham bats a stern yet surprised look. Judging by the 3 empty soaked stains in front of her, she's running on a lot of liquid courage. Her breath is probably enough to knock a light white out cold right about now. Sierra goes to open his mouth, but Calder simply raises his paw to stop him. The king then grabs a platter from the table, tearing off what looked to be some chicken legs, one for me, one for himself. And yet I remain as one of the most sought-after bachelors in the land. What's your excuse, Lady Astrid? Ooh. Laughter erupts from the table, some humor, some of nervousness as eyes turn to Astrid in an attempt to gauge her reaction. In truth, I'd be happy to see her be brought down a few more pegs, anything to sober her up. And some of the rosy hue on her cheeks wasn't one of anger, but rather a sign to reflect her drunkenness. Her last now act is an invitation for genuine ones to be shared around the table, a hope forming that there will be no more issues caused by her bluntness for the evening. And take a bite of the meat Calder plucked for me. It's cooked perfectly with a crispy skin coated with a perfect blend of spices and seasoning. The marinade penetrates the skin, only adding further depth to the chicken underneath, leaving it practically bursting with juice. Despite the enjoyment from the meal so far, the piercing feeling of eyes on me was striking once again, prompting me to turn my head to the table to the left, meeting Haim's gaze. However, before I have a chance to say anything, Fitz steps in. All right over there, Haim. Staring off into space, are we? He bears a judgmental stare, presumably not impressed with the wolf's rude gesture, but being suddenly called upon does make him break his glance and return to the place at hand. It's nothing. I have a lot of work on my mind. Well, it's not going anywhere, is it? This is your evening off. Try to enjoy it. And where are our manners, Brian? Good evening, lad. How are you? The sudden mention of me draws the attention of the wolves that have been passively contributing to their own conversations. I'm doing well, thank you. I hope the evening's going well for you all, too. It's been grand, Pipsqueak. After the business we've had today is well needed. Not that this slippery fellow would know anything about it. As my eyes look over to their portion of the table, I see Zord daintily slipping on his drink. Whatever he's drinking is something different to the standard beverage in here. Next to him sat Astrid, one paw slamming another stain back, while the other moved up toward her brother, ruffling his hair fiercely before putting their attention solely back to the drink. Even at a party, she's not gonna start bullying him, huh? Old habits die hard, I suppose. Speak of that, how well did the young scholar actually do today, Lord Holmes? I wouldn't have a full report on the day's test. I had one of the staff deliver it to your room. You'll find them in a folder there. But the long and short of it is that Brian is in good shape and can return to work whenever you're ready to have him back. It's interesting, though. It seems as if his body is acclimating to the environment better as well. So with some luck, he might be able to take more of an active role on any of the physical tasks you have in store for him. Interesting. Seems like the world is on your side if it's making you strong, Brian. I'm certain that that I'm certain that I'm in someone's good books. I hope, I'll say, I'll be good to have you back with us, Runt. So far, I'm damn confident the testing my crew has been conducting. I'm sure it'll be rewarding. Oh, Calder, before I forget, I did make an addendum to my report. I'd like for you to have Brian come along for some of your training sessions with you. Calder's joy turns to shock and awe, but even I can tell part of him is curious. Really? You're confident he can handle that? Really? You're confident he can handle that? Maybe not the full extent of it, but his body is completely unique to its acclimation. It's as if he's never had interaction with air before, and as such, I want to see if the stimulus of your workouts will react with it. I suppose I can handle that, though I think Haim is a bit eager to have you back first. Damn right. But no worry, we'll look into putting some meat on those bones, Brian. I mean, if it's combat training you're after. She stands up rather loudly, giving a resounding shout as she readies a fighting stance. No! God's Astrid, we don't even know if the lad can throw a punch, much less if he could survive a fight with you. Okay, I think you've had enough, sister. Come down. What? No. I'm Ruth does her best to sit down, but she puts a bit too much force into her lean, resulting in her knocking the chair over with her in it. As she refuses to retire, might I suggest she be cut off from the draft? Agreed. Absolutely. Hunt proceeds to pour the remaining liquid into various glasses amongst the five of them, ensuring Astrid wouldn't be getting her hands on anymore. Not fair, bastard. Yeah, come on, meat breath. The smaller wolf yanks Astrid up, setting her in place once again as she progresses to go back to her roast. Fine. Would you like to try some of the vegetables? They're all locally sourced from my farmlands. Oh, I'd love to. What would you recommend? A platter is passed over, containing various servings of roast, potatoes, carrots, broccoli, shredded. It looks as if there was a little bit of everything making up a lovely little medley. Honestly, anything on here would do you good. I'm especially proud of the crop yields this year. A respectable sized portion is taken from each side, piling my plate high and inviting me in to take a bite. Oh, this is delicious. I can't help but dish out a compliment to the old man's work, his smile being duly noticed by myself in response. Calder's arms grabbed my attention, being in a cutting motion before sliding me a plate. While they are delicious, gonna need to make sure you're getting your protein in too. Yeah, of course. A moment of silence washes over the table as everyone takes their time to truly enjoy their meals. However, voices fade ever so slowly, prompting my head to briefly turn down the table. By focusing on the individual conversations, I can hear who's discussing with whom. Zor is discussing with Haim, asking details about the work that's being conducted so far in my absence. He wonders because he wants to see if it's possible to get a market valuation for the item should they reach a position in which it can be mass-produced and sold off to all the neighboring lands. Next to them, Astrid and Home are discussing the day's events well as best as they can, considering her highly inebriated state. And finally, the older gentlemen at the table, the two of them recall tales of their youth, the time of their introduction to the council, even an ever so casual mention of Fimble, the party king to Calder. The two are sharing a particular cask of liquor between them, and from the bottle's adornments I can tell that it's a rather rare bottle. It's exactly as he predicted. I gotta give you props, Calder. You caught your council's actions almost exactly. Bah, what can I say? I just know them well. While he responds, he just feels a bit distant. Not that it's hard to imagine why. Hey, Calder? Yes? We're okay, right? What do you mean? Well, after what happened yesterday, I've been racking my brain with worry that there's, I don't know, a feeling of resentment, shock, just a negative connotation to it all. I really appreciate the hospitality you've given me, and I wouldn't want to have that be ruined. Oh, no, I mean, his cheeks are flushed. It was just an accident, right? Nothing we can't simply put behind us, right? After all, it's not like it couldn't have happened to anyone else. Yeah, total accident. No intent of it happening again. Right, of course. So, how was your dinner? Thank God he changed the subject. It's perfect. How was yours? Terrific. I may even ask the chefs if they can incorporate that new sauce they use into a more permanent stay in the day-to-day meal rotation. Oh, I second that. It was sweet but not overpowering. A wave of relief comes over me as I'm glad to know that there isn't going to be a lasting feeling of resentment between us for what happened. Though I'd be lying if I was to say I didn't like it. His warmth is really comforting. My eyes wander, looking down to the table to see the state of everyone else's plates being empty or left with scraps. Over my shoulder, I hear the sound of wood being dragged, noting that the staff had been called to clear the table, readying it to get everything cleaned up. At this point, it seemed that things were beginning to settle down for the night. Seor and Fist discussed turning in for the night, with Astrid beating them both to it by falling asleep at the table. I turned to Calder to see his state, and he looks just about ready to bed too. So the night's over. You got any plans for tomorrow? I think I'm gonna sleep in tomorrow. It'll be the first day in a long time where I hadn't had to be up at the crack of dawn to deal with. Your Highness. The loud sound immediately draws the eyes of everyone in the room to him, even the eyes of the previously drunken Astrid. The merriment of the evening drains from everyone as they anticipate what the wolf has to say. At ease, speak. The wolf quickly raises himself upright from his previous bowing position. I apologize for the interruption of your evening, sire, but I stand before you with concerning news. Out with the boy. The bears have sent a messenger. The new chief has been elected and he is seeking parley with the king. Did he say what he wanted? How soon are they requesting this parley? Yeah, my head. Did they fucking say who was elected? I don't know the individual, but I believe his name is Von Herster, Astrid. Fuck. She slams her head on the table once again. They've yet to state the exact demands, but their general request is that they wish to discuss the initial treaty signed by their predecessor. As for the requested time, they like it as soon as possibly tomorrow should the dates align. Oh my, I wonder what they could want. And on such short notice, this can't be good. I'm drawn to Calder, seeing him deep in thought as he takes a moment to ponder on the appropriate course of action. I'd like one of you to join me if we are to go through this. Your various dispositions could prove most valuable in diffusing the situation we found ourselves in. Astrid, you are an expert here. What do we need to know about this Vaughn? Bear with me. Bear. It's clear to see that the alcohol hasn't completely drained from her, but at the very least, we're able to keep her attention for a tad bit longer. Okay, he was my second in command. We had fallen out after a particular discrepancy. He stepped down shortly after, saying he wanted to refocus his efforts on the security of the Bears' territory. But he's cunning. He has a real affinity for leadership, so I'm not too surprised it's him of all people. Then, how will you go about dealing with this? It's cute that you think I know, Jaime. I'm no help here. Sober Astrid would tell you to turn up with a show of force. Drunk Astrid would admit she's not sober enough for this, but considering who it is, he knows the exact way I think. Maybe check in with the wolf in charge of social relations, though. Heim, he'd be the expert here after all. She stands up from the table rather groggily, tripping over her paws a slight bit as she walks away over to the exit. Whatever you decide to do, my vote goes with majority. Good night. Every day I question why she was chosen of all people. In her defense, she couldn't have expected such an event to occur on such short notice. While I concede the suddenness of this event to you, it doesn't explain the foul attitudes he carries to most of our predicaments, boy. And now the both of you. We could be facing something serious here. I'm not prepared for my counsel to tear each other apart when we have work to conduct. Of course, sire. Zora, prepare a gift from the treasury, something strong. I'll have something prepared especially for the event. Your Highness, allow me to state that my vote will also lie with the majority. The two wolves that saves a nine as a slender one, two joins his colleagues in leaving the room. I'd like to apologize, King Carter. I think we both know that the relationships of this kingdom are out of my depth. I would like to abstain from the present moment and allow a chance for me to vote for a fellow candidate. With that said, it left Heim, Seor, and home as the only options available. Herster home, you look as if you have something to say. I too would like to abstain from my vote temporarily. I'd like to hear from all remaining candidates to see what the most probable course of action should be. Then bring me your Highness. For all intents and purposes, this is essentially a business transaction. It only makes sense to bring an esteemed businessman to discuss the terms and argue for our benefit. Please, you really think the best action we have is to send you in, you of all people? You got a problem with that? As a matter of fact, I do. I'm not interested in watching the Bears play the patience game with you after you either attempt to bribe them or try to swindle them into a lesser deal. Carter, please allow me to attend with you. I know the customs the Bears keep in. You seriously tried to vote yourself after the absolute fiasco that was last time? CR, you and I both know that if it wasn't for King Fimble acting as quick as he did, you have never secured the brokered peace we have with him. You speak of a time where it was my first attempt at brokering such a monumental relation, yet you wish to simply ignore my decades of dedication to this craft. Do you think the Bears would simply ignore your last visit? Sending you back to them would be the equivalent of scaling a mountain in an open wound to their leg. Quiet! His voice boomed over all of them, silencing the entire room. You behave like children. I honestly shouldn't have even entertained the idea of bringing any of you along. His distance began to tap the table in a rhythmic pattern, him being deep in thought. Despite my lack of understanding in relation to the situation, there was one thing that was apparent. Should things go south, a lot of people and their ideals will be put at risk, not to mention my own. Think, Brian, you gotta be able to do something. When I speak, instantaneously the look of 5 wolves are already locked onto me. Some intrigued, some annoyed. If you'd be willing to entertain the idea, will you consider sending me on this mission? Will you think it's you? Carter flashes daggers at him, silencing him before he has a chance to completely shut me down. Brian, please elaborate, if you be so kind. Well, it's clear to me that you can both see a negative on the potential 2 candidates in front of. These negatives being based on past experiences. In comparison, I'm a blank slate. The Bears would have no context on me or my motivation, so my presence could be seen as a sincere one. Not only that, but I would provide a fresh perspective on the matters discussed, and I'd like to think I've had opportunity to display my intellect to all of you. And if the goal is to ensure the alliance you share is secure, does it not seem plausible that bringing the newest ally would set a good foot forward for your reputations? The silence was deafening, everyone taking a moment to ponder on my words as I too began to deal with the thought of what my words may have brought in store for me. However, Heim was the first to break the silence, letting out an awkward cough and preparing to speak. I still think it should be me, and as such, it should be obvious who my vote is for. I'm never one to question your choices, Carter, but I truly think that this is an instance where you would be making a grave mistake by not choosing me, and as such I cast my vote for myself. Carter simply nods, looking over to the only remaining 2 in the room. I'd like to cast my vote for Brian, Your Highness. I started expressing from behind as the is displayed in full effect as the younger wolf continues to speak his piece. I find his words convincing. His presence will be one of the first displays in quite a while of a new ally joining our fold. The bears might appreciate it. And I'm confident that he will be able to cover any of each other's shortcomings with ease. We share an appreciative glance to each other, his support helping my confidence in this decision. All that's left now is to hear from Fisk. With the results at the draw, the future could vary on this one decision alone. I must say, I simply adore the resilience of youth. It's honestly grand to see that it hasn't truly left any of you despite your ages or your positions. Though I'm going to agree with the young Herser and state my confidence in the human blind. Don't let us down, yeah? Of course. Oh, you shit. Herser, say on. You're always the first to question anyone that will go against the decisions of the council. Are you really about to go back on that matter simply because you didn't get your way this time? No. My apologies, Your Highness. I'll be making preparations in case the operation here goes south. Don't come crawling to me if it does. The last part is aimed directly at Calder as he storms out of the dining room. Yorn, inform the messenger that their message has been recognized and that I'll meet with the new leader tomorrow afternoon. Right away, sire. The servant gives one final bow before running out of the room. This meeting is adjourned. Brian, please return to your room and get some rest. You'll need it for tomorrow. Of course, do I need to know anything ready for it? Not for now. I'll brief you on the way there. There's a defeated look on his face. I can only imagine that it is simply to do with massive winds that has now been thrown to the works. As everyone else takes to leave, I hang back for just a second longer, wanting to make sure the wolf is okay. Me and my big fucking mouth, huh? Your timing is nothing but comical, big guy. Why do you step up like that? I mean, really, why? I know you're a good person. I've seen it several times while you've been here that you're willing to go that extra mile for the people you meet, but surely there must be something else here. While you're right in that I do seem to enjoy helping people, we technically have a deal to uphold. I can't help but come to the conclusion that if things don't go smoothly tomorrow, there's gonna be multiple hindrances that'll affect not only your life, but my life as an extension. I see. Well, nevertheless, I appreciate having you by my side for this one. Sio will probably be in a huge pissy after this. Is he gonna be okay? Eventually, he bears a wound from long ago, one where he and my father took on responsibilities of royal type, and the inner spirits came back to bite him. Old wounds heal, but not always the mental complications they leave behind. I see. But we have a job to do, and something this important takes priority. Go get some shut-eye. Brian, I'll be by in the morning. Good night, Carter. Good night. Finally getting back to my room, I head straight for the bed, stripping down out of my attire and folded it to be ready for tomorrow's journey. However, as I lay back in my bed, an audible crickling sound could be heard. What the? It was a letter. Hey, I'll be out of the city for a few days on account of a job. Try not to get yourself killed while I'm gone. Your favorite outlaw. Phew, what a guy. I crumpled the paper up into a ball. I'll destroy it in the morning. Surrounding us are the sounds of birds chirping, a combination of the morning sun rising and an outer wall gate opening created quite the disturbance to the morning dwellers. But there we stood, ready to embark. To be continued. So that was the third and latest update of Cleaved. So Brian volunteered to go with Calder to the bear tribe. This, I don't know, bear tribe or bear kingdom, but he agreed to go to the bears to basically be kind of like a diplomat to help, with the transition. The bears had them have a new chief, and apparently there's some terms that the new bear chief wants to discuss with Calder. So apparently there's gotta be some changes to the deal that the previous king agreed to with the previous bear chief. I got the previous king's name, but he was Calder's father. So after arguing between Sayor and Heim, Brian decided to volunteer to go instead. So it looks like we're going to see some bears next time. And we got to see Calder in king mode, being the mature one in there, lashing out at Sayor and Heim for bickering, and Home as well, all them bickering, and I forgot the reason why Home was bickering, but Sayor and Heim certainly had my interest as to why they were arguing. They also did last out at Home, all of them arguing about the news. And about Home, he was the nicest one out of the council members. I think it was, in my view, it was him alone. Well, not him alone, but he was a big reason in Brian not being put away in prison for a long time. So, he vouched for Brian during the trial, and he is also very smart. I think he's a scientist also, and both of them share each other's knowledge about science and measurements. We also got to hear from Home about his relationship with his sister bullying him and being brash and all that. But despite that, he still loves her. So, despite their issues, this familial bond still keeps them together. I think Astrid is bigger than her brother. That's the reason why she's able to bully him a lot. The size. This thing called air. I don't know what it is, but does it have to do with oxygen or the air in this world? I don't know, but I think it does kind of help with Brian being a little bit bigger than he was before. He has grown, I think, about 5 or 10, I don't know how many centimeters, but he's 6 feet. But he's grown several centimeters, so he's now gone from 6 feet to being over 6'1", or 6'2" almost. So almost 2 inches since being in this world. And Calder was going to train Brian, but this sudden news about the bears, I guess that will have to wait. But I would like to see Brian get bigger, a lot of VNs, the human MC is this tiny, frail person, and all the furry characters are like these big, giant, muscular people. I kind of want to see Brian get bigger so he can at least be somewhat on par with the wolves here. And so got to see Fraser again. Kind of like his cocky, flamboyant self. He's very good when it comes to physical capability. He was able to climb up the castle into the window and climb back down, so he's very stealthy. And we got to see that book that Grimm wrote, and him going across the world and meeting the tigers. This is something that Fraser didn't know himself. Okay, what else? I think that's all I gotta say for this part of the update. So we covered the entire new update for Cleaved, the third update. So it might be until sometime late this year that a new update comes out, because the new characters probably, with us being bears. The wolves we've seen here, very big and muscular, just huge. Well, I wonder what the bear's gonna look like. They're probably gonna look even bigger and more muscular. Bears being big. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. So thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.